Plan while you can. That's the latest campaign the Texas Department of Transportation is hoping will encourage motorists to not drink and drive, especially with football season in full swing. Now, during the 2016 football season, there were over 10,000 alcohol-related traffic crashes in Texas. Those crashes resulted in 424 serious deaths and injuries. And here to tell us more about this campaign is Octavio Sainz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
What is the message behind this really important campaign?
Well, first of all, Michelle, hi, and hi to everybody who's watching right now. One of the things that we bring to the table right now is pretty much, talk about the attitude that sometimes we have. In a community, we have the attitudes of a teenager. And let me explain what I mean. It's nothing that I say here you do not already know. But this, I know. These stats become important once it affects us directly, because either we have a loved one that has a DWI or a loved one that's dead, that's when these stats talk to us. During the football season, it's a period where we try to engage people again and tell them, look, it's great to have fun with your family, with your friends, if you're in events where, you're drinking. And, football is a big religion here in Texas, especially here in South Texas.
Right.
And there's, there are tailgates, parties, and what have you. But the important thing is to just make a plan, just like you would in anything. Make a plan, make sure you have a sober ride. And it's something that I think it's a message that we need to continue stating over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about that plan, we do have some ways in which people can actually plan ahead, literally. That first being finding a designated driver.
Absolutely.
And also contacting a cab or rideshare, especially now that we have those services here in the Valley.
Absolutely. And again, it's nothing out of the ordinary, as I said from the opening of this interview. It's just something that people need to be aware of. Here in the Rio Grande Valley, in the football season, between early September and early February, there were over 490 collisions related to alcohol. Out of those, 12 people died. Wow. And out of those, 40 people had incapacitating injuries. So it's something that is 100% avoidable.
Absolutely, especially because you can use, local transit, and you can also get a sober ride, as we just mentioned, whether it's a family member or a loved one. You can also think about spending the nights. As we mentioned, a lot of these activities take place in home, so make sure that you're friends with that person, I guess, right?
If part of the plan is taking your jammies and or tent, by all means, that's better than to get behind the wheel while you've been drinking.
Right.
And we go back to the attitudes. People know that this is not supposed to be done because it just impairs your ability to drive. It impairs your reaction time. So it's much better to avoid those $17,000 in fines, court fees, lost job, etc., and just get a sober ride.
Right. Now, plan while you can. Of course, this being the campaign right now that TxDOT is pushing. Thank you, Octavio. You can also find more information on how to get a sober ride, and that is on the screen now, soberrides.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back with a full look at your forecast.